We're on.
So the Senate and the Assembly, neither one of them have proposed to put the $35 million back into the budget for the Advantage program. Can you guys tell us a little bit about what the Advantage program means to your clients? Do you want to talk about the domestic violence shelter that you run?
Yes, I'm a program director at a Tier 2 domestic violence shelter. And when I informed my clients yesterday afternoon, after I got the word that the Advantage program is no longer accepting leases, I had an emergency meeting with the clients. 5 of my clients broke down and cried. I mean, I cried, they cried. And when they're crying like that, you know, it affects the children as well. Because these clients are dependent on that Advantage program in order to move out of shelter, in order to sustain their lives. You know, they came into the shelter for protection and to get away from the abuse they were receiving with their children. Now, with this Advantage subsidy disappearing, where do they go? You know, affordable housing is no more for, you know, people in shelter, some of them. And we need this Advantage program subsidy. We need it. My clients need it drastically. And also, when they said that, when they started crying, the first thing they asked me was, what about our children? What's going to happen to our kids? They've been traumatized enough, Ms. Brown. Where can they go? What's going to happen to us? I couldn't answer those questions. You know, they need this program. This program will help them get back on their feet, stay away from that batterer, help them, their children to grow into prosperous adults, be good citizens in this great city we have here. But that program is needed. We need that Advantage subsidy put back on the table.
And from my understanding, that $35 million is a state level cut, but in New York City, they're going to cut up $69 million, and in overall, the cut's going to be $192 million. So it's a significant cut. And I know that you work with adult men in the homeless shelter. So you want to talk a little bit about why the Advantage program is important to those men and how it gives them a hope for the future, and why it's going to be a problem that is going to be completely taken out of the budget.
Well, single men do not have many options as families or women do, as we know. NYCHA, Section 8, or any type of homing. Oh, I'm not good at this at all. I'm not going to be able to.
You're doing fine.
Let me start again. You'll have to cut it off.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Men don't have as many housing options as women do. So when you think about the Advantage voucher, it's the only really thing that we had to offer single men. I mean, I see it as a tool, a motivational tool to utilize with men because it's something that they can work for. You know, since we've had the Advantage voucher that started August 1st, we've seen an increase in men employment, increase of men participation in PA and HRA activities. I just see it as a stepping stone for men to become productive members of society, for them to start going out into the world being fully responsible. One thing about the Advantage voucher that I find beneficial and intriguing for men is that it is no free ride, meaning that they're going to pay rent. They're going to pay the first year, they're going to pay 30% of their income. The second year, they're going to pay 40%. And hopefully between that time, those 2 years, they can empower themselves through getting a GED, through possibly building a better relationship at work where they can get a promotion, possibly starting a family, you know, just doing some things in life that will improve them and they can feel more self-sufficient in their own place. I mean, I see it great benefits, and it's the only thing that we have for men at this time.
So what will you guys do if the Advantage program is cut? What will you tell your clients? What will they do?
Well, my clients are allowed to live with me up to 1 year. So we would just hopefully ride that year out. But when the year is up, where do we go? My client's going to end up in the homeless shelter.
Could they possibly end up back with the batterer as well?
Some may go back with their batterer or double up in families, you know, 3 or 4 families living in one household. And that's not a good environment for them to be in, especially when you're raising children. My focus is on my children, you know.
And what about the men? What will be the answer for them?
Well, we see an increase in longer stays in the shelter, meaning that due to the limited housing options for men, if we do not have an advantage, it'll be harder for us to place men. And you know, with the city, we have a PIP. You know, we have certain target goals that we have to meet. With the elimination of another option, which was really the only option, we just really see longer stay in shelter, which is not good. You know, the longer stay in shelter means that they become conditionalized to some degree with the shelter system and they have no hope. That's the main thing at the end of the day. What is it for them really to work for? When you're talking about a single population, you're talking about people that, you know, may get possibly a level of comfortability or destitute. You know, like this is it. So we have nothing. I don't know what kind of option. But of course, as human service workers, we're going to brainstorm. We're going to think of ideas. Maybe, I don't know, double up. I don't know. We'll just have to brainstorm, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be tight. And with the additional cuts to the shelter system itself, especially the single side, the side that we're talking about that I oversee.
$16 million
yes,
that's been cut.
That level of creativity we're going to have, I guess, is going to have less people.
Yeah. So it's going on the backs of the workers.
Yes.
Well, I thank you both for coming up to Albany today and sending your
Thank
message,
you.
because I know that there's many, many more of you out there that are working with these populations. And thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for coming to bring the message to Albany today with us.
You're quite
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.